Today on Rappler, the Graft Court summons the doctors of Gloria Arroyo to support her request for hospital arrest. Senator Santiago urges social media users to protest Senator Rector's version of the sin tax bill. And international anger grows over the Taliban's attack on a 14-year-old Pakistani activist. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The Sandigan Bayan summons the doctors of Pampanga Representative Gloria Arroyo to substantiate her request for hospital arrest in connection with the plunder case. A government prosecutor recommends her transfer to a detention center either in the Philippine National Police or the National Bureau of Investigation. Arroyo's lead counsel, Anacleto Diaz, says there's no need to prove Arroyo's health condition. He says there's no need to be vindictive about this. She was a former president and a national symbol. On Monday, Arroyo asked the court for hospital arrest while her plunder case on the alleged misuse of charity funds is being heard. She's confined at the Veterans Memorial Medical Center since Thursday after complaining of dehydration and weakness. Doctors defer Arroyo's discharge, saying she needed further tests because of low serum potassium levels. Government Peace Panel Chair Marvic Leonen talks about the recently signed framework agreement between the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Leonen says the agreement differs from previous peace deals because of a recognition of the region's history and consultations with both sides. What were the major pitfalls you avoided to come to this agreement?
Well, first and foremost is not to risk too much of the flexibility that is allowed in the Constitution. And the second is to accept that there are certain parts of the cause of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front that needs to be formally recognized by government, even though it may have only some social or cultural or even historical significance. And I think the third one would be that we did what was not done in the past, and that is to consult.
And this is in the MOA AD of 2008,
yes.
right, which was declared unconstitutional.
Yes.
Go ahead.
To make some parts transparent as we go along. That's why we had the decision.
This comes after 15 years of negotiations between the MILF and the government. Leonen says this agreement involves, quote, a healing process between Christians and Muslims in the region.
There has to be a healing process. And that is the other part of this agreement. A healing process because you do not want future generations to carry the baggage of hatred and stereotypes and bias, etc. People have to understand that a Muslim is almost the same as a Christian. So the MILF has told us we do not want a distinction that is based upon religion. So we do not want an Islamicized state.
Rappler continues its series of interviews with 2013 senatorial candidates. Last week, we had Cagayan Representative Jack Enrile. This week, we talked to Aurora Representative Sonny Angara. He talks about his 3 terms in the House of Representatives as he prepares for a Senate bid in the 2013 polls. Angara filed his certificate of candidacy on October 3. According to the House Indexing and Monitoring Group, he passed into law 10 national bills he filed in the previous 14th Congress. Angara, who studied law in the University of the Philippines and Harvard Law School, says he enjoys the challenge of being a legislator.
I enjoy lawmaking. I enjoy the challenges, the intellectual challenge, of finding solutions to people's problems. I enjoy talking to people, asking them about their lives. You know, it's something that interests me, and I think I don't mind doing it. I think some people, not all legislators actually enjoy the business of, they find it tedious, they find it boring. But I'm comfortable with it. It was a conscious effort on my part to really build a legislative legacy, something that I can be proud of in 10, 20 years.
Angara also talks about the cybercrime bill, which he co-authored with his father, Senator Edgardo Angara. Several senators have filed bills to amend the law after protests over its online libel provision.
Because to be fair to my father, he also said that he's open to amending the provisions of the revised penal code on libel. His is a different approach. You don't amend the cybercrime law, you amend the actual libel provision. Mine is to have the one in the online libel provision in the cybercrime law, just to have it as a civil penalty rather than imprisonment.
Anti-tobacco groups declare war on Senator Ralph Recto's version of the sin tax bill. Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, for her part, drums up the battle cry by rallying citizens to protest on social media. Santiago says, quote, "I'm gobsmacked, speechless with amazement at the committee report." She adds, "It is an abject surrender to the very rich and very powerful tobacco and alcohol lobby." Under Santiago's bill, government will raise 60 billion pesos for the first year, vastly larger than the 15 billion pesos in Recto's version. Santiago urges university students and those on social media to join the war against the committee version of the bill, calling it, quote, "the Death Star bill." Executives of Felx Mining Corporation say the company is not negligent and should not pay a 1 billion peso fine for a tailings spill in its Padcal mine. Felx Senior Vice President for Corporate Affairs Michael Toledo says they're contesting the fine with the Mines and Geosciences Bureau. The company says it acted immediately to stop production after heavy rain caused a tailings leak in early August. Felx says it paid about 800,000 pesos to the neighboring community affected by the leak to cover damages. The company loses up to 40 million pesos every day the mine is closed. International anger grows after the Taliban attacked 14-year-old Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai. Malala is in intensive care after she was shot in the head in a school bus on Tuesday. The Taliban say any female who opposes them should be killed. The White House condemns the attack and says, quote, "Directing violence at children is barbaric and cowardly." Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari says such incidents of barbarity strengthen national resolve to fight militants to the finish. Malala won awards after she campaigned for women's right to education. The Taliban burned girls' schools in her hometown in northeastern Pakistan. A relative says her condition is improving after surgery. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 2, authorities at the U.S. anti-doping agency say they have, quote, "overwhelming evidence that Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France 7 times because he was involved in the biggest doping conspiracy in sports history." Armstrong and 2 other riders allegedly checked into a hotel room in 2000 to have their blood extracted 1 month before a competition. A day before the race, the blood was pumped back into their bodies after being re-infused with oxygen. The reinfused blood would boost the cyclist's oxygen-carrying capacity and improve stamina. It was Armstrong's second Tour de France victory. He would win 5 more. At number 5, Indonesian authorities raised the country's security threat warning to its highest level after terrorist movements that show they may target high-profile visitors and dignitaries going to Bali on Friday. October 12 is the 10th anniversary of the 2002 Bali bombings, which killed 202 people. Among those attending are Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard, former Australian Prime Minister John Howard, and families of the bombing victims. 88 of those who died were Australians. And at number 10, a hearing of the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform turned partisan after a security officer said his request for the extension of a Tripoli-based security team in Benghazi was turned down by the State Department. A representative of the State Department counters that the team's extended stay would not have altered the outcome. The attack is described as, quote, "an unprecedented assault by dozens of heavily armed men." Officials say the attack was carried out by an Al-Qaeda-linked group. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. The Ateneo Blue Eagles complete their drive for 5 after outlasting the UST Growling Tigers in Game 2 of the UAAP Season 75 Finals 65-62. Kiefer Rabena and Wami Chongson delivered the knockout baskets in the last 2 minutes of the game to secure the 5th consecutive championship for Ateneo, the first in the school's history. Nico Salva, who racked up 30 points in Game 1, bags his 2nd consecutive Finals MVP award. Head coach Norman Black, who's leaving the UAAP to coach in the PBA again, says the team will continue to be strong even after his departure because of strong foundations. He says, "I want to be remembered for being a foundation for a successful program." Every story on Rappler has its own mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel, and your vote will be aggregated in the middle of Rappler's homepage in our Mood Navigator. The Mood Navigator will post the 10 stories that have gotten the most number of votes on the mood meter, and it will crowdsource the mood of the day. If you take a look today, teen blogger attacked by the Taliban, 73% angry, 27% sad. Top story, Recto under fire for diluted sin tax bill. 90% angry, 5% happy, 5% sad. And contributing to the mood of the day, a story that came up last night, MVP's next team, UP, 53% happy. All contributing to the mood of the day. Today, most people are happy. Well, that's good. That's Rappler's Newscast for today, Thursday, October 11th, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.